Hello and welcome to Cinema Savvy. It's myself, George, and I am doing our final London Film Festival 2019 video review. This is of the biographical drama Honey Boy. This was one of the standout films for me at this film festival. I was very fortunate getting into this screening. It wasn't a press screening, it was a public one. It was like a long process, but essentially I won a ballot and I was able to get in, which was very exciting. Now, one thing I'm going to say straight away, which I did not know, which some people may not know, this is written, not just starring, but written by Shia La Beouf. And I did not know that this was based on his own life until 10 minutes before the screening started. The director came out, apologize on the pronunciation of the surname, Alma Harrell. She came out and she spoke, but I did not know this at all. I hadn't seen trailers, I'd seen clips, I heard a lot of people speaking about Shia La Beouf could be nominated for the Oscars next year, but I didn't know anything about it. I went in clean into this viewing and it really hit me. I did not know anything about his childhood. Obviously, we know about some of the issues he's had. He's been in and out of rehab multiple times. This film explores all of that. And what I thought was very sort of jumping into it as a whole was to have Shia not just write this, but he played the role of the character Otis. So the main character is called Otis. It's Shia La Beouf when he's younger. They changed the name. They also changed the years in which this film is set. I guess they didn't want it to be too on the nose. That it's about him. Again, if you went to a normal person in the street, showed them this film, you wouldn't know it's about Shia La Beouf. When you know, it's abundantly obvious it's about Shia La Beouf. And so it's kind of got two narratives. We've got Lucas Hedges playing Otis at the sort of during rehab, just before that. And then we've got Noah Jupe playing him when he's about 10, 11, 12. Blatantly two narratives. One's obviously set during Even Stevens, if anyone's ever seen that, one of my favorite shows growing up. And the second is during, I think, Transformers or like Fury. Obviously, as Shia's got older, obviously when the issues have took place and whatnot. So it's one of them films where I don't want to say it's a tough watch. I thought it was so well both written and performed. It's quite difficult to view, knowing that Shia is playing his own father, knowing that when you're watching these scenes of his dad abusing him, he is having to act out, essentially what kind of made him go into rehab and whatnot. It's quite a jarring performance that you've got this moment where his dad's sort of juggling with him and he's making the character of Otis do it. And, he kind of gets like abused when he drops one. And you got to think, it's really hard not to think that was Shia, and this performance, he's going against himself. This must have been so difficult to film, and the more I've kind of read about this, the more fascinating it's been. So the director, Alma, she essentially said that she's done documentary films before, and she was contacted by Shia La Beouf after her first one came out, and he watched it twice. It was about alcoholism, about like abusive family relationships. So this is over 10 years ago, I think. So it's obviously been there for a while, and he reached out to her, and then obviously when he was in rehab, he did speak to her, and he has to direct this film. This is her first sort of narrative feature film debut. I guess we can say that it's not she's done documentaries before. This is her first step into a drama, and it's a very powerful film. I think it's so well written. Obviously, the fact that they changed the names, changed the years, makes it a little bit easier to bring it into place. The fact that Lucas Hedges doesn't look like Shia La Beouf, I know that sounds stupid, but Otis is a very believable character. But Noah Jupe playing him when he's younger, you can tell by the Hawaiian shirts. It's set during Even Stevens. They never have to say it, but he's on a comedy set, and you've got the father sort of on set, chatting up the other women, being abusive, not being there for him, growing drugs. It's stuff that I didn't know about Shia myself, and that's what made it harder to watch. And this whole film stems off Shia La Beouf's not just performance, but the real life story with it. And that's where I think it's made it not only more powerful, but I think it's been more fascinating, and it's had that lasting impact, because I can't think of any films done like this where you've had an actor react out their not childhood trauma, but he's been diagnosed with PTSD in the film, and having him act that out, playing the father, the reason he may have got PTSD, makes it even harder to watch. But at the same time, there's this level of comfort that comes with it, not essentially knowing what happens next, but ultimately Shia did get out of Rehab. I've not seen Peanut Butter Falcon. I takes for that as well, but he's on a bit of a streak. He's doing these independent films. A lot of people know him obviously from Transformers and stuff, but seeing what's come of this, the talk this has had, it's been fascinating to read interviews with him after. I've actually brought up on the screen. I don't normally do this, but someone asked him about how was it to write this, and his words are, it's strange to fetishize your pain and make a product out of it, and I feel guilty. It's selfish. It's very selfish. I never went into this thinking I'm going to help people. That wasn't my goal. I was falling apart. Now, this was written during rehab, which, I mean, I've not been through something that I wouldn't know how that is, especially when you've got so many sort of famous people going in and out as well. It must make it very hard for him. But ultimately, all of this coming together, his openness about it and saying what's wrong with the issues, it led to one of my not certainly by not sort of favorite film of the year, but certainly this is one of the few films that's had that lasting impact, and this is probably my top 10 of the year as a whole. I thought Shia was fantastic. I thought Noah Jupe was great as well. He had really good chemistry with Shia. I can imagine that being a big part of the casting process. I think they said they had over 300 auditions for it. And I think Noah Jupe had another role in a film that's just come out, Ford versus Ferrari. So he's obviously one of those young actors that's up on a high. He's getting more roles, but I thoroughly recommend this film. I think it's worth watching for everyone. Honestly, I want to say this kind of made me feel a bit guilty about Shia. I think in the back of their head, all that funny stuff, I don't have a clue what he'd been through or anything like that. So I had a bit of guilt watching this, I wouldn't lie. But as a film itself, it's a very good film. I think it's come out on Amazon later on this week in America. UK are going to get it in December for a cinema release. No idea when we're going to get it on Amazon. But I thoroughly recommend this Oscar-wise. I do think that this is going to be potentially nominated for supporting actor for Shia La Beouf. He's very, very good in it. It's an uncomfortable performance, but it's not a performance you've seen him do before. And I think the personal circumstances behind it make it even greater a performance for him to pull through. I can imagine that being very difficult for him on set. So I can see it being nominated for supporting actor. And I don't know if it would classify as, in theory, I guess it's an original screenplay. And that could also be a potential nomination as well. So I think this is a film that I think a lot of people are going to see. A lot of people are going to, I don't want to say the word enjoy, but I think this is going to be a very powerful film for anyone that sees it, especially when you know the real life stuff with it. And it's got obviously one of those great credit scenes where it speaks about the moments that come after, you know, what's happened in life post when this film was set. So that was my very quick review of Honey Boy. I don't think I've missed anything out as of yet. Again, I'm kind of sing my praises towards it. I do recommend it. Please see it as soon as you can. It really hit me by surprise. And sometimes that's what you want. You want films like that you don't know too much about, but when you do, it's the sort of film that a lot of people will see the real life circumstances. There may be people that grew up in situations like that, and there may be people that haven't. But I think it's a film that can pretty hit hard, especially when, you know, someone that's grown up with Shia La Beouf's work, his films, his TV series, gives you a bit of insight into the life that he's had and explains some of the stuff that's happened. So it's definitely worth viewing. Now, I would like to see more from the director. I do want to catch some of her documentaries. They're very well regarded from what I've been reading online, so that's something to do over the next coming months. But that's been my review of Honey Boy. I believe that's everything we've done now for the London Film Festival. We've got one interview with Steve Coogan coming out, but I think we're going to save that for the release of the film in February. So it'll be quite a while. So I'm going to wrap this up. We will go back to normal content. I've seen Dr. Sleep today. Chris will be seeing it on Friday, so we will have a review out next weekend. The Irishman comes out next week, so we may get a review out for that. We may wait for the Netflix release as well. But in the meantime, you want to find out about what we're doing, what's coming next, find us on facebook.com/cinemasavvy, on Twitter @cinema_savvy, and on Instagram @cinema_savvy. So there are social medias. We'll be on there for you to have a follow if you want to find out what's coming up next. We're getting things back on track. I'll have the news coming back, not tomorrow, the week after. And now I've got this stuff cleared out of the way. It's going to make it a lot easier to get back on track. So as usual, if you do enjoy this, give a comment, share, subscribe, whatever you feel like you need to do. We've got a lot of stuff coming your way. We've still got Terminator, Zombieland. We've got Star Wars next month. We've got reactions. We've got news. And we've got a very interesting video coming out soon, which I cannot wait to reveal, which involves the Joker. Not the film Joker, but the character of the Joker. So check us out with that. Thank you.